When God told me that it was His will for me to become a teacher, I knew that He was calling me not only to be a light in a dark place, but a lifelong learner. I've always dreamed of earning a master's degree, but I wasn't sure what the focus should be. I had considered a master's in reading, but I wasn't sold on the idea. I wanted to include more technology into my classroom, yet I lacked the skills to do that effectively. So, I decided to apply to Azusa Pacific University. It came highly recommended by my husband, who's also an alma mater. This being the first private institution that I've gone to, I was excited to be supported spiritually in my beliefs in the Lord, and also be encouraged in my profession as a teacher. I couldn't be more happy with the results, and I'm very, very glad that I attended Azusa Pacific University. The Education, Technology, and Learning program couldn't have been more fun. Some of the highlights include the digital video in the classroom. As you can see, my daughter was one of my favorite topics as she taught my students how to plant a garden. I also made another movie about photosynthesis that I'd love to show my students. But doing this, I could see how my students would love doing these kinds of projects. I found it very helpful to learn how to do podcasts and video podcasts. I made a web quest on California natives. I also learned how to design my own class website. I gained some great skills using Adobe Creative Suite, including Photoshop, which is one of my favorite classes. I would not have the confidence I do now with technology if it weren't for the Education Technology program at Azusa Pacific University. My action research plan was focused on improving my students' memorization of their multiplication facts. As you can see by my class chart, there were quite a few students who just weren't memorizing their facts. So, I enlisted the help of technology. I had 12 focused students. 3 times a week in the mornings, half of them would go on Meteor Math, and the other half would meet with a parent and work on flashcards. Then they would switch. I was very encouraged by the first trial, in which 50% of the students passed to the next level. However, the second trial, only 1 student passed, and the third trial, 4 students passed to the next level. Now my students love practicing their multiplication facts. They feel successful, and they're having fun while learning. Just about every day now, they ask if they can take another multiplication test because they want to pass to the next level. This action research showed me how technology can build a bridge to success and make a student feel more motivated. I chose to do my unit project on plants. I've always enjoyed planting seeds and watching them grow and produce food. I think it's a good thing to make our children aware that it takes a lot of time, energy, and water to produce food. It doesn't just automatically show up in grocery stores. I wanted my students to connect with the food they eat, as well as understand the parts of plants and how plants make its own food through the process of photosynthesis. I also wanted my students to see how the different features that plants and animals have help them thrive in their natural habitat. The science standards for this unit include that students would know both plants and animals need water, animals need food, and plants need light. They would also understand that animals and plants have certain features that help them thrive in their environment. Included also are reading and writing standards, as well as the NET standards, in which my hope is that students would enjoy using technology to work together and to create projects that they're proud of. In order to reach every learner, I've strived to include Howard Gardner's 8 multiple intelligences. The students are also brought in this unit plan from a basic level of understanding about plants and animals to one of more depth and complexity, all the while using technology to help them create and to motivate. The first section of this unit focuses on plants as living things. We open up the lessons with the reading of the carrot seed, and then move on to looking at the parts of plants. And I also bring in some carrots and radishes, lettuce, and even apples in order to let the children connect with what they're studying. Students will also get to plant a school garden, and they'll record their thoughts through blogging and voice recording. Students will create works of art looking at Georgia O'Keeffe, and they'll also create their own plant song using GarageBand. They'll interview a botanist using a webcam. They'll have a couple of opportunities to go on a great web quest. In the end, the students will produce a diagram of a plant with all of its parts in Kidspiration. Another part of our plant focus will be on photosynthesis. We'll closely look at plants using microscope. We'll learn and understand about photosynthesis. In order to further learn about photosynthesis, we'll plant bean seeds and watch them grow. We'll measure them every 5 days and record it through a science log or on our blog. Then we'll take 2 of the plants and we'll do a photosynthesis experiment in which we'll place one plant in a closet and one in a sunny spot. We'll water them with an equal amount of water, and we'll see how the plant with sunlight grows better than the plant in the closet. Then the students will put their pictures and their song into a vodcast. In the end, we'll briefly review what we've learned about plant parts, the parts that we eat, and photosynthesis, and then we'll move on to plants and animals living in their habitats. The students will begin by researching different habitats using the ecosystem keynote that I made, which is more like a choose your own adventure, in which they will be responsible for writing down 2 types of plants in each environment and 2 types of animals from each ecosystem or habitat. I also wanted my students to see how the different features that plants and animals have help them thrive in their natural environment. For example, a cactus has leaves, but they don't look like the leaf we're used to seeing. The spines on the cactus are its leaves. These leaves help the cactus not lose water in the heat of the dry desert. Rainforest plants usually have waxy leaves, so they don't absorb too much rain. And the certain shapes of birds' beaks help them find the food that they need to help them thrive in their habitat. Students will be able to see some of these things firsthand through field trips in which they will have to perform a scavenger hunt looking for certain types of plants, get a closer look at habitats through Google Earth, and their final project will be a PowerPoint presentation on one of the different types of habitats that they've studied, including the animals in that habitat. They'll have to share a specific feature of each plant and animal and why that feature helps them survive in their particular habitat. They'll also create a 3-dimensional diorama and present it and their PowerPoint to the class.